my friends, and welcome to another edition of Vanessa's Journeys. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm a little late in this update. I apologize. It's been a rather difficult month in two different areas. And today, you're wondering why I'm dressed like this. Well, today is yard day. Well, yesterday was yard day too, and then we had Friday night. But today is full on yard day, as much of a yard day as I can do. I'm cutting down the last of the grapes up high in the orchard and down below, and trying my best to cut grapevines. I have no idea what I'm doing, and there's a lot of them I can't reach. And the person who usually does it, I can't get a hold of. He might have been taken. And by taken, I mean that mobilized. Mobilized means drafted into the army. They're doing a lot of that lately. Anyway, yeah, it's a work day. And I'm up at top in my orchard area. Let me give you a look here. So this is the view from the orchard area here. The view of the land, and things are settling down for the winter. These next 2 nights, we're going to have freezing temperatures at night, like 1, 2 a.m. freezing temperatures, which is fine because the orchard is pretty much done for the year. And there's nothing really to do for it except for maybe cut the grass, but it's really not that tall. I think it'll be fine until next spring. So, and then down below, those are the grapevines that I'm trying to cut, and they're just a bit too high for me and my ladder. And I kept telling people last winter into spring, I'm going to buy a taller ladder. Why do you need to buy a taller ladder, Vanessa? So I can cut my grapevines. Oh, you don't need to do that, Vanessa. We'll do it for you. Okay. Well, I'm still waiting. So I'm going to be searching and see maybe my landlord can do it for me, the former owner, because he lives 2 houses down. Yeah, speaking about mobilization, drafting, there is a lot going on right now of people, the boys, being taken off the street, being stuffed into a van and taken off to who knows where. We've had 2 people from our church drafted into the army. One we have not heard of. It was 3 weeks ago that he left. And he was able to contact a couple of people and let them know that he was taken, as we say. And we've gotten a couple text messages from him, but we're not sure if they're him or if there's somebody from the army who has his phone, because they don't quite sound like my friend. And this is somebody that has been in the English club. I taught English to. I helped him pass his English exam to get into an IT school online, and he's grown a lot in the Lord. Of course, we all have more growing to do. But it's been really sad that we haven't heard from him. And he also did all the slideshows, on the for church on Sunday. He organized all that, so we've had to scramble and get other people trained. And that's just to say, don't have just one person doing one thing. Make sure there's always a backup somewhere. Yeah, amen. And the other person who got drafted was an assistant pastor, and he is Joel's right hand person. He was played a very significant role when the invasion started, and he helped get the refugee centers set up, and he organized all that, and he was basically the man in charge of all the refugee centers, organizing them. When people come in, they would call him, and he did a really good job. And then once the refugee centers started shut down, we started doing a feeding program on the street. And he organized all that, make sure we had food twice a week to feed people. And he was just, he did a lot, and him and Joel would have conversations a lot about how to help those in need. and those who have been in the Army, how to help those who have evacuated from their areas and they don't have a place to live, and even how to help those who have evacuated and have a place to live but still need help. And so he did a lot of that, and he has been drafted into the Army now. Unfortunately, his brother died, and so he is at a funeral for until Monday or Tuesday. He got special permission to leave for a funeral, and then he'll go back to where he's serving. He won't go to the front lines, thankfully, because he has some skin diseases that won't allow him to do that sort of thing. So he'll be near Mokachva. We don't know how near, but he won't be at the front line, so that's a praise report. And that's, what's happening as far as mobilizations, as far as drafting. We still have some evacuees from Glukov. I still have the 4 girls living with me, and they're settling in for the winter, as we say. Their family has given them money to go shopping. They've done a lot of secondhand shopping. They came with shorts and T-shirts, and now it's fall weather, and so they need, jeans and tennis shoes and that sort of thing. And so they've been very good at secondhand shopping. Secondhand here is wonderful. Sometimes you get things that are brand new. So they're doing well. 3 out of 4 of them are in college. One is in college studying to be a veterinarian. And so she does college in the morning. And then she goes to the local vet clinic and she serves there doing her practicum. The other one is studying to be IT, information technology, computers and all this sort of stuff. She's the youngest. And then the third one is studying management. And apparently her mother is a manager of a florist shop or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But her mom knows a lot about gardening. So we've had to call mom and ask her a few questions about what to do with this, what to do here, how to plant this, that sort of thing. And the fourth one is still in school. She's in the 11th form, which is the last year of school here in Ukraine. And so she'll be graduating this year. And it would be nice if she was able to go home and graduate with her schoolmates. But that's still yet unpredictable because her home, not her home exactly, but her area is constantly being bombarded, constantly. As we speak, Kiev is on alert, and it's been on alert since yesterday. And they had some Shaheeds fall in the sky this morning. It was like, good morning, Kiev. So I'll be praying for Kiev, but keep praying for the war, and pray for the 4 girls that are with me. They miss home. They miss their parents, their moms. But I'm glad that they're here, and I'm glad that they're safe, and that I'm able to take care of them. The Lord provides. With the onset, with winter coming, and we're going to be having freezing temperatures, we had to turn the heating on. And of course, because it's darker out earlier, lights go on in the house. And so, electricity and gas bills are a little higher than normal, but, I'm glad that I have electricity and I have gas heating. And plus my fireplace, we'll use my fireplace a lot as well. Which, speaking of, I need to get more wood. If you look here, we had a young gentleman who's also a refugee. He came and he cut a lot of wood that was in the barn behind me. So this is the barn behind me. There was a lot of wood in there that it was too big for my fireplace. So he cut it to make it fit in my fireplace. And it's stuff that needs to get gathered together. This is good for starting the fire. So we'll gather all that together and bring it in. And it's good kindling. Of course, we still have some big pieces here that need to get cut to make them smaller. This one actually might fit into the fireplace, but these are too big. And then we have here the last of the grapes. This whole row here, and it goes around the bin, are white grapes and green grapes. And I've cut the last of those out as well. As you see, I've been kind of a busy beaver. What else is going on? Well, along with the 2 guys that have been drafted into the Army, October was a hard month for me. First, it was my birthday, and then it was my mother's birthday. And both of those are first. Last year on my birthday, I kind of had a feeling that this would be the last birthday I would have my birthday with my mom. But it was kind of in the back of my mind. It wasn't something that came to the forefront that I could actually do anything like act upon it. And then mom's birthday came, and that was just really hard for me. I was in contact with my counselor and in contact with another counselor, and they really helped me walk through the day. I got through it. I made it. Yay, I made it. And her birthday actually was easier than Mother's Day. Go figure. I don't know why. Maybe because Mother's Day and her birthday, May and October, there's a huge separation between the two. But it was just kind of a hard month emotionally. Now we're heading into November, and then in December, mid-December will be the first year anniversary of her death. And I'm still in counseling, and my counselor is already working with me on working through that anniversary that's coming up. So one thing that was good was that my mom's birthday, it was a Thursday, and so I had lessons all day, and it was actually, no, sorry, it was a Wednesday. I had lessons, and then I had English club, and I had one of my former students, since he was on fall break from school, his mom wanted him to get some lessons squeezed in, and so I squeezed him in between everybody else, and so I was pretty busy, and that helped keep my mind distracted, and I wasn't sitting at home thinking, oh, I miss my mom, oh, woe is me, I really miss my mom. So my mind was distracted most of the day. So it's good to be distracted on one hand, and on the other hand, it's good to write about it, which I did. I wrote in my journal. And I actually told my friend, not die, burn my journals, burn them all of them, because they're not for anybody really to look at. They're my feeling between myself and God, and they contain a lot of information that's really not for anybody else's eyes. I realized that as I was writing about my mom and what I was feeling, and like, with my mom, there's a lot of regrets that keep trying to sneak into my brain. I should have done that. I should have been more forthwith with mom. But you can't go there, because it's just like a broken record and it just eats you up. And so I journal about it, or I write a poem, or I draw, or I do, all that sort of, like, they call it trauma therapy. So, yeah, God bless mom. And things with the executor or things with the executor, I have no idea when there will be any kind of memorial for my mom. Maybe spring, maybe not. They found a unfinished manuscript that they're working on getting published. And of course, that's going to take a lot of time, because publishing isn't anything that you do overnight. And working on trying to get the house ready to be sold. But that's all in the executor's hands, not mine. So let's go back now to the here, back to Mukachewa. And what's going on here? Other than people getting drafted, English Club is still going strong. And I actually have a couple of people coming who are actually refugees who evacuated, and they want to learn English. And so they've been coming to English Club. And we've been lately having a series on travel. We started with how to book a ticket for a train. And then we went to how to check in for your airplane flight. And then this week we'll go on how to go through customs immigration. So that's been a lot of fun, just sharing my experiences. Since I've actually traveled since I was a young child. And just sharing my experiences, because many of them have never flown in their whole lives. So then after this, we'll watch a movie, and then we'll do another series on something. I don't know what, but we'll find out. So yeah, English Club is going well, and I'm enjoying it, and those who come enjoy it as well. So it's a good thing and a God thing. I have 6 lessons, I think is what I counted, private lessons. I've got Dima and Dasha, who are in Kushchinovica. Then I have Natalia. I have Yeva and Emma. Those are sisters. And then I have Nicole. So those are all my Mukachewa and surrounding area lessons. And I try to, with my lessons, I try to schedule them so I'm not going Kushnovica, Mukachewa, back to Kushnovica, and then back to Mukachewa. I try to schedule it so it's Kushnovica, Mukachewa. Then once I finish with Mukachewa, come back home, and I'm done for the day. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's all a scheduling thing, and it depends on the kids' schedules and what's going on. And, you know, you kind of have to go with the flow. But they're doing well. Dasha is a next door neighbor of Dima, and Dima is the son of the former owner of my house. And Dasha is actually colorblind, and she doesn't see very well, but she's really, really, really smart. And she's just whizzing through her book. And if I could, I would stop where we are and go on something higher. But I want to make sure that she has the fundamentals down before we go on to something a little harder. Dima, who is a son of my former owner, he's doing well, although he has a few problems on some grammars. So we'll repeat those. Then I have Natalia, who she's older, she's a woman, and we have discussion. So I meet her at a cafe, and we drink coffee, and we talk, and we do a little lesson. So we do an hour of talking and an hour of lesson. When she is talking, I'm correcting her and saying, use that, this tense, this is the wrong tense. So not just correcting her, but making her think as well. And then I have Nicole, who is I had last year. And I am working with her on her grammar and trying to get her up to speed on her grammar. Then I have the two sisters, Yeva and Emma. I had Yeva last year, and she is just doing really well. She is in second grade, and she is just sprinting off like a leaf. Sprinting off like a leaf. I don't think that's quite right. And I have her sister Emma, who's in kindergarten, and she is just learning her letters and her colors and her numbers. So I try not to do all letters. I try not to do all colors. Try to mix it up in the time that I have with her. But she knows the color orange really, really well. I'll bring out the block, and it's orange. She goes, orange. I don't know why orange stuck in her mind, but she's got orange down like there's no other. She has problems with some consonant blends. The BL, like blue, are hard for her to pronounce, but she's in kindergarten and she'll get it. So I'm not that worried about that. And we're not really there yet. We're just doing colors, and that's where we got with blue. And so I kind of, little things that stick in my mind as a teacher's like, okay, we need to work on that, but not right now. Let's get her letters down and her sounds. And something I noticed here in Ukraine is they don't really teach letters so much as they teach the sounds of the letter. So when you ask somebody how to spell something like blue, we would say B-L-U-E, but that's not how they do it here. They go B-L-U-E. And for the E, they have to go English E or Ukrainian E, because they both kind of sound the same. Interesting things about learning as a English teacher here in Ukraine. Be praying for my pastor as he's trying to, he's not trying to, but he's holding up the church and but redelegating responsibilities of those who've been drafted. Like this Sunday, tomorrow, actually, my girls and I, we will leave about 45 minutes earlier than usual so that we can help get things set up at church. Communion chairs, slides for the worship, anything that needs to be done. And speaking of slides and worship, one of my girls, Alona, plays a guitar, and she was able last week, I think it was last week or the week before, she sang. She didn't play, but she sang on the worship team. She was really nervous, but she did excellent. And we have youth group on Friday, and we have like a Bible study beforehand, and then the youth kind of hang out and play games, and she does worship for the youth group. And sometimes she'll take the guitar and she'll go in her room and they'll all have a little worship night in the room. And it's really cool to hear, So pray for her that God will develop the gift that He has given her. I'd like to get her like a ukulele for Christmas. I think that would just be fun for her to learn the ukulele since she knows how to play the guitar. Like, hey, let's do the ukulele. Um, and I like to get a keyboard for myself because I was teaching myself how to play keyboard. Um, and the keyboard I had belonged to the church, and they needed it for practice for the worship team, and so I had to give it up. So I'm looking into getting myself a keyboard somewhere somehow. But that's about it that's going on with me. I babbled on for now 20 minutes. Be praying for the girls and I as we settle in for the winter. Be praying for the electricity, that we won't have blackouts like we had last year. And even though even if we do have blackouts, I do have a fireplace, so the house will stay warm. At least our bedrooms, and the corridor. The kitchen will be cold, but that's okay. We have a gas top stove, so we can still cook food. And so that's an A plus and an A plus. Yeah, so praying for us. We've kind of have gotten into a rhythm of life, as you might say. We still do dinners together, but not as often. And they each have a shelf in the fridge where they have their own little goodies or their own bread or whatever. And it's not really dorm style, but it's kind of family style, but not really family style. But we're doing well. And there aren't any personality conflicts that you think there might be. And they help out a lot. They help out in the yard. They help out in the kitchen. They help out in the house. They're they're a huge blessing. A huge blessing. So just pray for us as we settle in for the winter, and that we don't just hibernate, but that we were able to reach out to the neighborhood that I live in. Many of my neighbors know about them, and some of them know them. And so, like, neighbors meet me and are like, so who are those girls who are living with you? So it's always fun. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Be praying for those who've been drafted in the Army. Be praying for Joel as he's redelegating what other people have done in the church. And as he has lost his right-hand man. And that's really hard on him. And be praying for the soldiers. As winter is coming, and in the east, it's going to come sooner than it is here in the west, for warmth and protection, please. And be praying for Joel's right-hand man and his family as they have lost a son and a brother in the war. So, yeah, that's about it. Pray for my little car here, car down there, my little Skoda, that it will be fine getting up the hill in the winter, because usually it's just me getting up the hill. And it was fine last year with me getting up the hill, but now sometimes I have 3 or 4 girls in it, and so it weighs it down a little bit more. And just pray that we won't have any problems getting up the hill through the forest to my place. So that's it, and I will talk to you guys again at the end of this month, and I will try not to be late. Have a great Thanksgiving, and talk to you later. Love you all. Bye. Mwah.
Kita